and poems, lovely poems. And I think I also regret it because I lost a wonderful platform for doing illustrations. There was so much of creativity involved in doing the illustrations for these things. So that the demise of the short story form in magazine is something that I feel very strongly about. But at the same time, I think we have organizations like Cafferati. I don't know whether there's anyone from Cafferati. We have some young, very enthusiastic people who are coming up with online platforms or other platforms where aspiring writers can put in that stray bit of fiction or poetry and test the waters. So there is a beginning. And Shougata will say the rest.
I think Konkona has partially answered your question, but yeah, as a publisher also I feel there's a dearth of a platform for young budding writers where they could probably test the waters, as you said. Not many places where they can go to, but then again, technology has sort of overtaken all of the, people have started writing blogs. As a publisher, as an editor, I sort of try and follow a lot of blogs these days, where a lot of young writers try and experiment with their writing in forms, in structures. So, on one hand, whereas there is a dearth of magazines where probably you could publish your stories, but there is again the vast world of internet where you could publish your stories on your own, on WordPress, on Blogspot, and there are lots of people who are doing that. I have actually commissioned people by reading their blogs on the net, and those have gone on to or are going on to becoming books. Then again, as a publisher, I publish books, and probably that is not my forte. I mean, magazine publishing had its literary space, say even 15 years back, but that space has been eaten up by many other things, it seems, and that space is no more given to budding writers. Probably the commercial aspect of it doesn't work out that much. And as a publisher, I think that's something which we've lost out on. We would have liked to read younger writers and sort of gauge their potential, but I don't see that happening in India.
I have one point. Sorry to interrupt, but I have a point. Apart from what you compete with the publisher, I think it was a great platform for the reader also to be able to read that kind of stuff, and you know about so many. Like I know that there were these papers, the Asian Age. They used to have a censor page on Sundays where there used to be short stories published. All that used to, I think, help the reader also understand who is the new writers coming up. You all of a sudden come into a bookshop and see a very attractive cover, and that's how you choose your writers, which is very unfortunate, I feel now, because of not having any magazine space at all.
I think that's true. I mean, that commercialization of print media has sort of eaten up into the literary space. But then there are few platforms, but probably very few and far between. There are a few very good journals where you could publish, but they mostly come out from the United States. I think Threepenny Review is something which I read regularly, and some of the best voices of literary fiction have published there over the years before they've gone on to winning the Bookers and the Pulitzers of the world. Yes.
I was trying to think that this seems to be happening only in the Indo-Anglian language. When it comes to the vernaculars, Bangla, Tamil, there are magazines, there are journals which are publishing the young writers, and as she said, Supriya said that the reader, when he buys a book, before he goes and buys a 250 rupee book, he would like to know something about the story or something about the author. How does he know that? Just from particular the critics' views.
He is the best person to answer that, because I don't run a magazine publishing house. Not very highbrow literary, but it's literary enough, and it also has its own commercial appeal because it does a lot of, gives you a lot of modern Bombay, and it talks about things that you and I know. It sort of puts you in the protagonist's shoes and says, oh yeah, I mean, I think I know this place. Of course I've walked down that road, and hey, this happens to me. So it's, and then again, you probably wouldn't need a thesaurus to, you know, to find out what has happened in the next week. So
is the market in Bombay or is it international?
I think this is an international book. It is, I mean, you can't possibly, you know, market it as just in Bombay. I mean, Bombay is as saleable as in New York. So.
I wanted to ask you, I'm so happy Supriya Madam has raised that P.G. Woodhouse. Another author which we love to read was Henry Cecil, his series of books and novels. But unfortunately, because of this encroachment which we have, not encroachment, just one additional medium, I personally find that children do not have good books to read. Enid Blyton has that caricature. We have got R.K. Narayan, Malgudi days, and the other Swami character and this. So, unfortunate. And the so-called stories which we have, many of them are not clean. They fall in the UA category or A, and some words do creep in. For example, I shouldn't say so. Last evening, a tabloid was in my house, one of the midday afternoon and that. My daughter, who was just 14, saw the last page. She said, Daddy, why do you subscribe to such paper? I said, this is an afternoon paper, I do not know. I take up this matter with that editor, so what Paris Hilton wears and what Britney Spears do, we in Indian culture doesn't permit it. So either we are opening or not. So this point which I'm trying to make is the authors should write good books for the readers, young readers, where they can build a foundation and build castles, and rather than flinging things.
I think that's true. You were saying about the literary aspect. I think it gives you story of this one family. I mean, that's very important to me. I think characters are very, very important. I think we all live with characters, and I think if characters move correctly, you can go very far with them. They can teach you so much more than what anybody in a living world can really do, you know. And I think this book does give you that. Little bit of what I read of it or whatever I've heard of it, it gives you basic characters whom you can identify with and you can move with. And therefore, and it's all Indian. They are all Indian characters. They are us. Which is what I think is more important, instead of, as you were saying, instead of taking it from the West. Or anyway, we always do. We copy them as much as we can. But here, if we are moving with Indian characters and Indian people, I think that's what we should actually even encourage our children to read.
I noticed that in your work, there's a lot of dialogue in it, and you seem very confident with dialogue. And a lot of the humor in your work is generated through dialogue. So I was wondering if you, I guess that you listen on conversations of people quite intently. And it's always a compliment to a writer, I think. And I was wondering if you sometimes when you write, you find out that you heard something funny that somebody said, but when you put it on the page, it doesn't seem so funny, or vice versa. Is there a difference between what is funny when people are speaking and what is funny sometimes on the page? And do you have to tweak it somehow?
Yeah, non-stop. And I also eavesdrop on people, so you know, my friends are better be careful. And I love to pick up the lingo. I mean, the youngsters, you know, the kind of English they speak, or it's the Mumbai English with a lot of Hindi terms. And I've used a lot of lyrics from old songs in this book. But as you say, Chandrahas, you've got a very solid point. Very often you hear something that sounds hilarious, but when you put it in writing, you know, it isn't all that funny. So I think you've got to be very selective when you write humor. Only something that can, you know, I mean, the general reader will find very funny. You need to pick up on only those pieces. And you also have to be careful because something that goes down in Mumbai, certain kind of humor that goes down in Mumbai may not go down in Delhi or in some other place because it's very city-specific, the humor. So I think I'm a little careful to see that the humor appeals to any reader across the country. And I also like to keep the flavor of my novel wholesome. I never go in for vulgar humor. I like to keep it very wholesome, and I'm a great admirer of